Hey guys, welcome to this video tutorial on how to insert data into a database using Android Studio. And we would be using MySQL database for this purpose. And I have already taught you how to install WAMP or XAMPP, and how do you create PHP scripts, and how do you check your database whether it is connected or not. And we've also hard coded some of the data to be inserted directly to our MySQL database using our PHP scripts. I hope you've all understood that and you've all done your preliminary checks. Make sure your database is connected, make sure your database has proper insertions and proper deletions, and we would start from that step onwards. Okay, now I've opened an empty activity. Okay, I've given it a name. Okay, and what do we first delete this text view? Okay, and I will just design my form first. Okay, so what I do is I add a large text somewhere here. Okay, I give it the name registration form. Okay, and I change few properties, wrap content, and I change the layout margin. I need it to be 10 dp from the top. Okay, that puts it a little on top. Okay, then what do I have to change? Okay, let it be text view. Okay, and that is all with this widget. Okay, and then comes your text fields. Add 3 text fields. Now our registration form will have 3 text fields: one for your name, one for your username, one for your user password, and a button for registering yourself. Okay, I'll give it some size. I'll give it the width 250 dp. Looks good. Okay, and I'll give it 30 dp from the top. Very good. Okay, and I'll have to change the ID. I'll give it name. Okay, I'll give it a hint name. Okay, that is pretty much this, and I add another widget here. Okay, I give the same size so that they look the same, 250 dp and 330 dp. Okay, and give it a hint. What is this? User underscore username. Okay, and give user underscore name, and I'll have to give a gravity for this. Center horizontal. I forgot to give the gravity for this one. Okay, let's not do this. Okay, let's have it on the left hand side. Okay, this has changed to 39. I want this to be at 30 dp. Okay, and I can still bring it further up. 20 dp looks good. Okay, another registration tab, 20 dp from the top, and I want the size to be 250 dp. Okay, push this little here, 20 dp. Okay, come down, change the ID to user underscore pass, and give the int as password. Okay, we've got 3 text fields and a button. You'll have to add a button. Okay, very good. Add a button to this. I want this to be of the same size, 250 dp. Okay, and 20 dp from the top. This looks a little better. Okay, and now you'll have to do the same thing. We'll have to convert this as a resource. Okay, this is our name. Okay, and then convert the second one, username, user pass. Why is this not coming? Why is the light bulb not coming? Please turn up, please turn up. Okay, I get the light bulb now. Okay, register. Okay, this is a string resource. If it still doesn't change, you give it a refresh and this would set up your form. Now your form is designed. Okay, the designing part of your form is complete. Next we'll go on to the coding part, which is the tricky one. Okay, and I also forgot to do one thing. In your button, I would want you to go down and you would find something called as on click. Okay, that is nothing but your on click event. Okay, whenever this button is clicked, I want a function called as user reg. Okay, we would declare this now. We would declare and define this function now. So make sure on your on click method you have your user registration. Okay, now go back to your main activity.java. Now this is where all your brains happen. Okay, now we have our on create method here already. Okay, now what I would want to do is I would want to declare few variables. Edit text. You alt enter, you will have the edit text. Okay, edit next, and I am declaring three variables. One for my first text field name, and I give et underscore user underscore name, comma et underscore user underscore pass. Okay, I've got three variables. Okay, these are all edit text type, and I am going to declare three string variables: name, name, and username, one for username, one for user pass. Okay, very good. And what we would want to do is we would want to create a function. On clicking the button, we would want this action to be completed. So I will call this as public void the same function which we had in our on click function. Okay, and give it a view variable, view object. Okay, and open the function. Okay, so what do we do inside this function? We'll have to start the activity. That is, whenever your application loads, you would want this to be ready. So you type new intent of and you give this keyword. I hope you know what this keyword does. Main activity dot class. Very good. You do this inside your user registration. Okay, and then we will have to pass the value which we get in our form to a variable. Okay, now we have three string variables and three edit text objects. Okay, now what do we have to do is we'll have to make sure that the text input which the user types in the form to be stored into three variables. Okay, so we have three variables for your name, username, and user pass. Okay, so in your name variable you would want to store the value which is entered in the first text field. Okay, so what do we do now? Et underscore name, okay, dot get text dot toString. Okay, now with this method you will be able to store the values which are entered in the first text field onto the variable called as name. Do the same thing for the rest of the variables as well. Okay, et underscore username dot get text dot toString. Very good. User underscore pass which is equal to et underscore user pass dot get text dot to string. Okay, very good. Now we'll leave this now. Okay, now I go to my package, I create a new Java class. Okay, I call it as background task. Okay, now I have created a new Java class, and this has to extend async task. Okay, now this async task will take 3 parameters. Okay, now for now we'll have all them void. Okay, whenever we require them, we will declare their types. Okay, what is the error throwing up? We will have to implement few methods for this async task. Okay, so first method which we have to implement is your do in background method, and there are 3 more methods. In total 4 methods has to be implemented here. 4 methods has to be overridden. First one is do in background, and then you have on pre-execute. Okay, just keep typing it somewhere and you will get the drop down list and select it from there. On pre-execute, do in background. Okay, and 2 more, on progress update. Okay, and then on post execute. These are the methods which has to be implemented when you extend async task. Okay, now we've done that. Now in our background task we go into do in background function. Okay, now before that we would want to declare a construct context variable. Okay, context ctx, I'll declare it as ctx, and we would also declare a constructor. I hope you all know what a constructor does. Okay, and I'll use this variable here. Okay, and this dot, usual thing which you do in a constructor, this dot ctx is equal to ctx and semicolon. Okay, and then go to user registration function. Okay, go back to your main activity.java. In your user registration function, I declare a variable. Okay, I'll tell you what this variable will do. String, I'll name it as method is equal to register. Okay, and then I'll have to create an object for my background task which I have created here. Now we have a Java class here, and if we want to use all the methods variables inside background task, that is this class, we would have to create an object for this particular class and make use of this object to access their methods, functions, and all those things. Okay, so I create an object. Okay, simple object creation. Okay, new background task. I forgot the new keyword. New background task. Okay, of this. Very good. Create an object. Okay, and you'll have to make sure that the object gets executed. Okay, execute method, and that will carry 4 parameters. Okay, now the first parameter will be the method. Okay, now this is a variable which we have declared here. This is a string variable. Okay, that has to be your first argument here, method, followed by the name of the followed by the variable which holds the values in the first text field, followed by user underscore name, second text field, user underscore pass. Okay, now you've done this. Now it is throwing up an error. What does it do? Okay, create execute method. Do not worry about that. Go back to your background task. Okay, now if you come down, we will have to change the first parameter here to string, because we are sending the variable method there. That variable method is actually a string, so change this to string. So whenever you change that to string, your do in background method also has to be a string. Okay, change that, and inside do in background we will have to create a URL object. Now this URL object refers to the local host which you've already installed in your system. Okay, now that URL has to be declared something like this: string, this is a variable name, I call it as reg URL, which is equal to, and I give it a HTTP value. Okay, I give it a IP address. Okay, now if you're running your application on your local host, this is the IP address which you will have to use, 10.0.2.2. It is a universal IP address for your local host. Okay, and we have created a folder called as web app in our public folder of our server. Okay, and inside that we have to run the script called as register.php. PHP. Okay, now this has to be stored inside your register underscore URL. Okay, and then we create a variable called a string method. Okay, and we pass this using params. Okay, now if you do not know what params does, please look into Google. Okay, this is a very effective way of storing values. Okay, this is an array, params is an array. Okay, and we store the method into params of 0. Okay, and we use a if method. Okay, if clause, if method dot equals of something, equals of register, that is nothing but our method variable. We have initialized it to register. If that matches, then the following if condition will get executed. Okay, when that executes, okay, we are creating 3 variables and they have to be pushed inside your param stack. Okay, string name, string user underscore name. Okay, and the next value inside your params, sorry, 2. Good. Okay, string user underscore pass is equal to params of 3. Very good. Okay, after that what you will have to do is, okay, this is done. Okay, user underscore pass. Okay, now this value, this register underscore URL has to be passed inside an URL object inside Java. Okay, now we create a URL object. Okay, now this capital URL is a class and we create an object for that particular URL. Okay, same way, new URL, and the parameter which we have to pass here is the string variable which holds the URL. Okay, and we click enter, this throws an error. What do we do? Okay, we'll have to surround it with the try catch. Okay, surround it with the try catch, and then we usually send our data using get or post method. In any other form, ASP.NET, or if it is a Java program, we create a form, and whenever you want all the details in the form to be sent to somewhere else or to be stored in the database, we use get and post. Okay, now those get and post functions has been deprecated in Android Studio, so we have something called as HTTP URL connection, which is the latest one. Okay, so we create an object for HTTP URL connection. Okay, we typecast it to HTTP URL connection. Okay, and then you have URL dot, we'll have to open the URL, open the connection, so that our database is ready for accepting values into it. Okay, this throws up an error again. Okay, surround this with the try catch again. Okay, add your catch clause. Okay, just one try. Okay, and add 2 catch clauses. Okay, after that you have HTTP URL connection dot, you are sending a set request method. Okay, and in this method you will have to use the post. Okay, now they haven't found anything for this right now. Okay, so we come back to the post keyword. Okay, and set do output, and this takes a boolean value, set it to true. Okay, now here comes the main part. Okay, now this is simple Java code. Now if you have done something using Java, you would definitely know all this. Okay, and we have something called as output stream. I hope you know what output stream does. Okay, create a variable for your output stream. Okay, and send that using your HTTP URL connection. Okay, get output stream. Okay, and then comes your buffered writer. Okay, now your output stream, the similar example which we used to give in Java, it is like a tunnel. Okay, now whenever you use an output stream, you create a tunnel, and if you want to put something inside the tunnel, if you want to put something inside a pipe, you will have to use buffered writer. Using buffered writer, you push data into the tunnel. Okay, the same thing which we do in Java, we are doing it here. This is equal to new buffered writer, and what do you have to pass inside, and which you'll have to make sure you send it to the correct output stream writer. Okay, and your output stream writer will take 2 arguments. Okay, that is nothing but your output stream argument and the encoding technique. Okay, and the encoding technique is nothing but UTF-8, which we use in Android Studio. Okay, and then we create a data variable. Okay, now usually in even in Java we create a data variable. Okay, and in this data variable only we'll have to push it to the database. Now that is using URL encoder here. Okay, this actually encodes all your data from the form and puts it inside your database. Okay, so user, and give the UTF hyphen 8 plus equate it, give plus URL encoder dot encode, and give the name of the variable which has the values from the text field. Now if you remember, we have created 3 variables. Okay, for 3 text fields. Okay, we get it from them. Now we'll have to pass it to the data. Now how do we have to do it in one single way? So we'll have to keep on concatenating them. We use the concatenating operator, ampersand. Okay, and do the same for copy this and paste it for all the 3 variables which stores the value from the text field in the form. Okay, so user, this is user underscore name, and the name of the variable is user underscore name as well. Okay, okay, we don't need this, use a semicolon because this is the last of the variable. User underscore user underscore pass, and this is as well user underscore pass. Okay, now we've done this. Okay, now most of your coding part is done. Now we'll have to close everything which, okay, sorry, we'll have to send this, we'll have to write this to our database. Okay, buffer writer dot write, and the value and the argument which you pass is the data, because now we have commonly categorized everything. We have taken all the values and put it inside a single variable called as data. Now this data will hold all the values in the text field, the 3 text fields, the name, username, and password. Okay, it will be concatenated into one single thing called as data. Now this variable has to be sent inside the tunnel so that it writes onto the database, buffer writer dot write. Okay, and flush it. Okay, all Java classes. Okay, flush. Okay, and then finally buffer writer dot close. Okay, and close your output stream as well. Okay, now once we enter data into the database, we should get a message telling that the data which the user enters in the text field has been successfully entered. Otherwise the user will keep on clicking the button. So in order to do that, we'll have to display an input to the user. To display an input, we use an input stream. Okay, and that will take the object HTML URL object got get input stream. Okay, this is the exact opposite of output stream. Okay, and this will return some message, registration successful. Okay, this throws up an error, make do in background as return to be Java. Okay, now we've written it as void, change it to string. Okay, very good. And come back to on post execute. Okay, now we overrided 4 methods. Okay, we've done everything in do in background method. Okay, now we come back to our on post execute method, change this value to string, and give this an object. Okay, result. We use toast to display everything. Context variable, my context variable ctx, the result which we get here, dot comma toa toast dot length long dot show. Okay, Okay, now we are getting an error. What does it tell? Do in background. Okay, now we'll have to change the third parameter to be string. Okay, that solves the error. Okay, save your file. Okay, now we've mostly done our coding part. Okay, now what we do is we have to give permissions to access the internet. Okay, so we go to our android.manifest file. You use this permission. Okay, android permission dot internet. Okay, okay, very good. Now you finish that. Okay, now go to your public folder. Okay, go to your public folder. I'm using WAMP, so it is inside www. Go to the web app. Okay, and go to your PHP scripts which you've done. Okay, and you will have to change this. Okay, in class I taught you how to hard code this. Okay, comment all this line. Okay, now from your form we are sending it using a method called as post. Okay, so we'll have to receive all those inputs which we get from the form. So change your variables to $_post of user, $_post of user underscore name, $_post of user underscore pass. These are the three changes which you'll have to make, and comment these three lines which I taught you in class. Okay, and also comment these echo statements. We don't want any echo statements to arise. Okay, go to your init.php and also comment your echo statements. Okay, now once you've done that, open your Android Studio, run your emulator, and try to open up the form. Okay, otherwise if your emulator takes a lot of time to run, use your mobile phone, debug it in your mobile phone and try and check it. If you, this code should definitely run. Okay, my emulator will definitely take another 30 minutes, so I don't want you to keep waiting. Okay, so please try this. Okay, take this as your virtual lab exercise on 14th of October. Okay, try to complete this. Take 1 week's time, try to complete this. Okay, and make sure you do this clearly, because you would definitely get one database question in your term and lab exam. Okay, so if you're unlucky on that day, if you get database, then it might be very tricky. Okay, so please make sure you learn through this. If you have any doubts, if you have any errors coming in between, please contact me on the forum or please contact me in class. Okay, make sure you learn this. This might not look very simple. Okay, so when you have this video on one side and open Android Studio on the other side and try to code each and every step as I've explained in the video. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope this video helps. Bye.